Hey everyone, how's your summer going? More Layers is back in business again. I'm Seth Mariano.
I'm Jordan Smith.
Yeah, it's uh, it's been pretty rainy, at least in my suburb of Greece.
Yeah, we've had a bit of rain here too. In fact, I can verify that it was raining in Greece as well because I was in that general area when I was working today, and at one point it did get pretty bad.
And you were at the Greece Town Hall for the 4th of July?
Yeah, I went to an area in the town of Greece for fireworks, and I made a post asking if anybody else was there that we knew. Nobody said anything at the time that I saw, but afterwards, people were saying that they were there as well. So,
Yeah, I know. I saw Hannah Cahill there, who's been a part of Artists Unlimited along with us.
yep.
And from what I've heard, there might be a show this year, this fall, depending on protocol or whatever. It's possible, I guess.
Yes, supposedly there was a good probability that we'd be doing something, but it certainly by no means is guaranteed. So it could still not happen. And considering it's mid-July and they still haven't said anything, as far as I know, I'm not gonna hold my hopes up too high.
Understandable. Uh, what was I going to say? Well, either way, it appears that there's not much strict protocol in New York, COVID wise anymore. Uh, not really. There's not really any, like, as far as I know, any more mask requirements, except if, like, someone in my school district is like working with customers, then they'll require one. But other than that, I don't know of any.
Yeah, from what I understand, there aren't too many general rules out there anymore for like COVID or masks or whatever, but there will still be specific locations that might ask about it. Like at my job, they are saying that those of you who got a vaccine for COVID at least 2 weeks ago do not have to wear a mask while working. And I, as of right now, still haven't gotten one. I might soon, and the only reason I might do that is because there's somebody I'm working with to get an acting demo reel done, and he was telling me that it would probably make things easier or everybody involved would just be a lot more comfortable if all the people involved had a vaccination so they wouldn't have to worry too much about all the different rules and such that they have to follow for COVID. So really, it just depends on where you are and what you're doing.
All right. So, can you tell us anything about the reel that you're working on, the demo reel?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a resume, but in video form. The way it works is that they will film me in short little acting scenes or whatever, and then kind of put them together so that when they're distributed, people who are looking for actors for bigger projects eventually will hopefully see my reel and be like, hey, this guy's good, let's hire him. So really it's a way for possible um like film employers or what have you to be able to see what I can do so they can have a better idea of whether or not to hire me. It's kind of like a preview.
All right. Well, let's. Well, I guess you'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we haven't gotten like really started yet, but we're hoping to meet very soon if we can to like go over the details of like the contract or like where we're going to shoot, what we're going to be shooting, who we're shooting with. Then we'll go from there and hopefully it'll go smoothly overall.
Can you tell us any of the dialogue that you think you're going to do?
They sent me a few weeks ago a kind of a first draft for the first part that we're working on. And my character, for the most part, won't be speaking until towards the end of the scene itself. And I think what they're going for, and I completely understand this, is they want employers to get a sample of how I can act when I don't speak. Because a lot of good actors, they can get messages across without speaking, or like they can just emote very well, which actually kind of ties in a little bit to what we're going to be talking about today.
One of the things that that I can tell you from my experience was stressed in Artists Unlimited, and when I did Shrek, like, was reaction or reactions. They may have, coached us on how to deliver lines. I got that, but then they stressed one talking point or another about, to non-verbally react to stuff going on that might have not directly involved your own character,
Right.
but we're on stage, and they would want to see you stage a sort of reaction.
Yeah, having a reaction to anything that's going on or anything that's being said is very important. They always are telling me, like, you don't just want to be standing there doing nothing, because then it takes you out of the character and then people won't be as invested. So if you react to whatever's going on at the time in some fashion, it comes across a lot more authentic.
If you were to ask me, people, I'd probably say, don't let like the focuses on certain subjects throw you off, if you know what I mean. Don't just wait for your part to come.
Yeah.
Be all there, whenever you're in the scene.
Yeah, like returning to when we did Shrek, there is a song right before the end of the first half, like the first act, where Dalton, who played Shrek, he had a song that for the first 2/3, he's pretty much the only one singing. And I'm sitting behind him, almost directly behind him, so there were probably a good chunk of people who couldn't even see me. But just in case there were people that did, and you might even be able to see this on the DVD copy, I was at least trying to react to anything he was saying. Like, it was like, I could be a poet or something along that line, and I'd be back there like, yeah, there you go. Kind of supporting him as he was getting more into the music.
I imagine that must have been difficult, to keep your focus and be motivated to do that when you don't have when it's not your turn to sing or whatever.
It can be difficult, especially if you're not given a lot to do. Like at the time, until I started singing, I was kind of just sitting on a rock behind him. So potentially I could have just sat there, looked like I was listening intently, but I felt like, adding a little bit more movement, especially for the people further back in the audience, they would at least be able to see something like, oh, he's actually really invested in what he's saying. I like this.
Yeah. So, I found out on checkiday.com that today is the 66th anniversary of the opening of Disneyland in California.
Was the one in California open first before the one in Florida?
Yeah, I think it's like about like 15, 20 years older than Disney World Florida is.
And Disney World has been around now for, actually, I think it's about 50 years. I think this was their
Um,
50th anniversary, I think. Unless I'm thinking of something else that they were doing.
yeah, I think it opened in 71.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that because I'm not entirely sure.
Disney World was pretty much kind of a way of making the Disney park experience more accessible to people on the other side of the country.
True.
Because you really wanted more Americans to, consume that.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's near like the northeastern border, like we are, or pretty much like anyone towards the middle north area to like the northeast of the US are probably going to have the longest trek to get to either one, because one's all the way on the west coast and then the other one's right on the southeast. So they're pretty much at the opposite end from where we are.
I've heard the Anaheim parks are, well, the Anaheim location is smaller than the Orlando.
Okay.
Can't really offer an honest comment about Disneyland California because I have not been there. I've never even, as far as I know, set foot on the West Coast, at least not yet. But if I do, it might be interesting one day.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been to the California one either. I've been to the one in Florida a while ago, so it's probably been significantly updated since then. But yeah, I can't say much about the California one.
How long ago was it the last time you were down there in Orlando?
I went to Disney World when I was 6. So that was around 2002, 2003. So that was about 18-ish years ago.
Okay.
And of course, Disney has come out with a lot more stuff since then, so they've probably added a lot more attractions and such based on those things.
Yeah, I've heard about them developing a new Tron ride. I think they might have a new Guardians of the Galaxy attraction or something.
It was it Disney World or was it Universal that had that? It might have been Disney World. I'll have to think about that because I did hear that they were coming out with the new one. I just couldn't remember where.
Yeah, I think, well, because Disney owns Marvel, it would probably make more sense.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Although I could have sworn Universal had something like that before, but I could be wrong. I know they have other things like I think they still have Jurassic Park, Jaws. I believe they still have Harry Potter stuff there, don't they?
I've not yet been to the Universal Park. I think I would like to, though.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. I don't know why I'm saying probably. I already got the tickets. I'm gonna be heading down to Universal around like the first, second week of December, so I'll be able to check some of these places out and see what's there.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
All right. So our main topic for this week is, can instrumentals work with lyrics? By that we mean, can something that was written as a sort of instrumental composition work with lyrics added in?
Right.
Yeah. And I thought of just a couple of examples. My biggest one, in a sense, because this encompasses, that's the
There you
word.
go.
Starting off talking about a series of songs by a YouTube artist who goes by screen name Golden Tusk. Some of you may know he pretty kind of burst onto the internet scene with his his little sort of recording of the Superman 70s movie theme with his own original lyrics added in. My personal favorites are like his themes for Jaws, Harry Potter, and Mission Impossible. You know, he's done a bunch. He's done those. He's done Terminator, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, like kind of just about all the nostalgic blockbuster classics he's done songs for.
Oh wow! I'll have to see what other kind of work he's done because I hadn't really thought about that before.
Overall, I think he does good. For me, this is just what he does is not just some goofy lyrics that happen to be paired or that he happened to pair up with familiar movie themes. His lyrics, I think, actually work because they're very descriptive of the plots, more or less, and they work well with the rhythm and with the melody. And yeah. So I think that's an example of instrumentals being able to work with lyrics.
Okay, yeah. The first thing that came to my mind when we were talking about this topic beforehand was a lot of Disney soundtracks, or really, if you think about it, a lot of soundtracks for films in general. Because I noticed that a lot of them, what they will do is on the CD-ROM, they will have all the songs in with the lyrics first, kind of in order of where they were in the film, and then they'll go back and do all the instrumental ones on the later part of the disc, or wherever you're listening to the music. So when I was listening to like the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack or the Aladdin soundtrack, and they got to the instrumental stuff, I was thinking it would be really interesting to see what some of these songs would sound like if they actually had words put to them. And then another thing that came to my mind was Hunchback of Notre Dame, which doesn't, I don't know if they have too many instrumental tracks, but some of the songs that they have, they're sung in a different language, which is kind of like listening to an instrumental song because you don't know what they're saying anyway. But yeah, I just felt like that was an interesting extension to what we're talking about here, because it's like, if you don't know what they're saying, you can kind of put your own words to the song itself. Like the track, I believe, in Hunchback is called Sanctuary, where like he jumps out of the building to rescue Esmeralda and bring her back up just to keep her safe. And I believe they're singing, I think it's in Latin. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And it's like, I don't know what they're saying, but it sounds really cool. And I can only wonder what would happen if they had English lyrics to it.
So was it like a Latin chant?
Yeah, they were saying something in Latin in the background of the song. Like, it wasn't the most focused on thing in the track itself, but you could still definitely hear it. You just couldn't understand it because it was in a different language.
There was just one other example I thought about. I don't know if this counts or not because lyrics. I'm not sure whether this was originally written as an instrumental. I thought of Beethoven's Ode to Joy. which
Okay.
I think might have been originally instrumental, though I'm not sure, but I feel it might be. Oh, you're looking it
I'm not.
up?
Yeah, I was about to say while you were saying that, I was gonna see if I could quickly find anything. Yeah, supposedly there's "Ode to Joy" instrumental song by Beethoven.
Okay, so I guess I was right then.
It sounds like there's at least instrumental versions. I don't know if it started out that way though.
I guess I like to think because he's mostly, if not entirely, associated with instrumentals, so that I guess was my first guess for that reason. It
Okay.
sounds like I was right. So, um, I think this was there was something written for the movie Sister Act 2. No, no, you're familiar with it.
Yep.
Joyful, joyful. Yeah. Where they where they wrote lyrics to go with the melody of the main section, if if that's how you could say it, of
Yeah.
Ode to Joy by Beethoven.
It was kind of like a hip hop remix.
Like a sort of like a hip hop social hybrid sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was probably years after that somebody came out, like a corporate worship artist who came out with something, a song, "Joyful, Joyful," uh, with um, with the melody of the first couple bars paired with basically the same lyrics for the verses, and then an original melody for the chorus and original lyrics for that.
Oh.
And uh, it works at least okay, I think. I think you could probably look it up and find it on Google or something. I've heard it in church, and it's I'm not sure if I don't think it's because it was pretty obvious. I think it was really obvious to me what the composers or whoever were doing with this.
Sure.
So for that reason, I probably was never into it, but it at least works okay, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I When we were originally picking out this topic, I was kind of bringing this up to Seth that it'd be an interesting topic to speak about because I've actually kind of done this myself before. Because there
Yeah.
was a YouTube channel that I followed for a while that took songs or remixes from a game called Sonic Generations, which was a game celebrating the 20th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog. And they redid a lot of like stages of levels from previous games, which meant they did remixes of the songs that went with those stages. And most of them, in fact, I'm pretty sure I wasn't about to say all of them, but most of them did not have lyrics. But he had this guy. He did a YouTube channel that had a bunch of videos that was like, what if this song from the game had lyrics? And then he would take the track and add his own vocals to it, and it sounded really good. So then I tried it once, and personally, I thought it turned out okay. And then people really, at least one or two people, they seem to get my inspiration from this guy because they're like, hey, this sounds a lot like this guy. Have you heard of him? It's like, actually, yes. This is where I got my inspiration from.
Yeah, I think if you can carry a melody and whatever with your voice, and you can sing something that really works with the melody, because not just anything mixes, I don't think.
Yeah,
If you can do that, um, then you've probably done something right.
absolutely.
Yeah, so those were the only examples I know that I could think of, really.
Well, I couldn't think of too many specific examples, but one thing that I did say was that I've seen several bands or composers, whatever you want to call them, that are known for their epic instrumental music. And two that came to my mind, they were called Immediate Music and Two Steps from Hell. And they both done songs which were instrumentals that I can really only describe as like the epic music you'd hear in the trailer for an action movie. And I could definitely see with how these songs are written, I could definitely see people putting their own lyrics to these songs that would really work. Like they set themselves up for lyrics, but they just don't officially have any.
Like they weren't, uh, well, they weren't maybe composed with lyrics in mind, but they naturally have a lyrical feel.
Yeah, I mean, a few of them, especially on Immediate Music's part, they will technically have vocals in the background, but from what I understand, it doesn't really sound like they're saying anything. They're just hitting certain notes. So really, the vocals are just another instrument thrown in there.
If you've got like one like melody instrument, I guess leading the thing, leading the performance with some melody notes that stick out, then inevitably in someone's mind, you're gonna probably plant a lyrical idea.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think I've brought this up multiple times on the show before, but one thing that I personally like doing when I'm listening to pretty much any musical track, whether it has lyrics or not, is kind of envision a scenario that would go well with that song. And if I were to write lyrics to any of those songs, then the scenarios that I'm picturing in my head would probably be a great motivator for the kinds of lyrics that I would throw in. Just as a side note, for those
Okay.
who are watching the video version, you might notice that I'm looking a lot to the side right now. The only reason for that is because the rain has been picking up a little bit on and off again, and some of it is coming through the top of my window right now. Like it's not bad, but it's just leaking through a little bit, and there's like a constant little tap, and I'm just making sure it's not like causing any problems. So I
Oh yeah,
figured
yeah.
I'd
No judgment.
Yeah, I figured I'd just clarify for those who may be watching and it's like, why does he keep looking over there?
Yeah. Probably one thing I would like to see that I would probably enjoy hearing Golden Tusk do. Maybe I don't know if he really does these movie theme things much or at all anymore. I mean, they're still available to watch, but I don't know if he really is has continued to do them. But either way, one thing I would probably enjoy is maybe him kind of experimenting a little a little more going outside just movie themes and probably doing stuff with TV themes or even with songs that have lyrics that were popularized by certain movies and maybe throwing his own lyrics in maybe to kind of recreate plot points of that movie or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen some people do that, and which kind of makes me think of something else too, because there were a bunch of YouTubers that I follow that have done a lot of song covers or what have you based on songs from different animes. And a lot of those will start out in a different language, those songs. And I'll look up different English covers that these YouTubers have, and oftentimes the lyrics, while the message can be relatively the same, the lyrics themselves are often a bit different. So it's interesting to see how each person puts their own lyrical spin on it.
Like one example that I particularly thought of was maybe like a Karate Kid franchise thing where they do there's a song that plays during the tournament at the end of the first movie called "You're the Best" that plays during the karate tournament,
right?
And maybe use that to maybe promote the Cobra Kai show and sort of show the two sides of the battle. You get the Miyagi-Do dojo and the Cobra Kai dojo clashing, debating. Yeah. And Cobra Kai is expected to premiere its 4th season. I believe they said the 4th quarter of this year, so maybe October through December, somewhere in that range. And,
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And it was nominated for a Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Comedy, though I consider it a dramedy, but I'll take it. Oh, that's a good nomination.
I was about to say, any awards that people get, I'm sure they won't complain about getting, at least for the most part.
Thanks everyone for listening or watching, and we'll be back maybe next week with something new. And in the meantime, enjoy all of our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and Facebook.
Yeah, and if you think of any different instrumental songs that exist that we didn't really touch upon or even reference, please let us know. Or hey, if you've created lyrics to songs that don't have lyrics originally, please send them to us. We'd like to see it.
Yeah, we encourage you to talk to us.
Definitely.
All right. Until next time, we are More Layers, and again, and see you next time.
So long, everyone.